so.
No.
Never a doubt, right?
That was the loudest applause I've ever heard in my life.
GSP, a hero here at home.
Yeah, if you're not here, I don't know if you get the full spectrum of sound that came out of this crowd. That was amazing.
Nick Diaz, George St. Pierre, kicked early by the champion. Gray trunks for the challenger, black trunks for the champion.
Good jab landed right away by Nick. Takedown by George. Full guard by Nick Diaz. He's got an arm wrapped up.
Nick, very creative and talented on his back.
Very good guard. Very offensive guard. Very good with sweeps as well. And very good at protecting himself from his back. Good elbow right away.
George likes to use the elbows with his ground and pound and cut open his opponents. Nick turns.
George has his back.
Nick trying to work his way back up.
Nick is sticking a leg in between George's legs. He may roll for a knee bar too if he has the opportunity. George stops that.
It's deafening in here.
Nick's rolling. He's got a hold of George's arm and he's rolling. Nick's up. Sprawl by George. George again takes the back. Nick's going to pin that wrist and roll towards his right shoulder if he gets the opportunity.
George controlling so far.
There's the roll. He's going to try it on the other side now. George so far has landed some decent shots here from the top position. He hops over to the other side, and he controls Nick in side control now. He's not going to take the back.
St. Pierre still in control here. Just past the midway point of round one. Postures up. Good elbow. Keep in mind, Nick Diaz has a ton of scar tissue around his eyes, too.
He's actually had that operated on because he was receiving so many cuts and fights that he had it all shaved down and had the scar tissue repaired. George controlling Nick on the ground here in this first round. All George St. Pierre so far. Nick has just been unable to get back up to his feet. Nick again trying to tie on that wrist and roll, but George has his back. Nick's trying to get back up to his feet here.
George so strong and well conditioned. And he can control his opponents as well as anybody in the octagon.
There's no question he's physically stronger than Nick. The question is whether or not he's going to be able to match him technique for technique, breath for breath, keep up with his endurance. But so far, if he can do this, it's all George.
Top position time nearly 4 minutes of this round, Joe.
He's got one hook in. He's got both hooks now. Nick peels one hook off.
And Nick can't fight him off here in the first.
It's all George right now. But George is pacing himself. You can see even the way he's throwing his ground and pound. He's not going full blast. He's just doing what he has to do.
That's what we talked about as well, Joe. Would he utilize his game plan and not be affected by all the talk coming into this fight, and once again the answer is
Nick is
yes.
wrapping up a Kimura, standing Kimura on that left arm of George. Let's see if he has enough time to do something with it. Big slam by George.
10 seconds left in round one.
So far, all George.
Yeah, big first round for the champ. See what Nick tries to do here, back on the feet. Will George stand and strike? Now southpaw for Diaz, who, as Firas Zahabi talked about, came out in the orthodox stance. Up the middle.
But George looking for that front kick to the face. He can't stop it.
We haven't seen anybody who can.
Well, it becomes a question of what can he do from his back if he can't stop it. Because he didn't do anything in that first round. He's got to make something happen here in the second.
Perfect once again.
Unable to get to his feet, unable to stop the takedown, unable to generate any offense from his back.
Takedown accuracy #1 all time. George St. Pierre at over 78%. His ground control second to none. And we know from all the fights we've called with St. Pierre, he does not get tired in this position.
He's a machine. I mean, the guy practices as hard as any man in the world. He's got the most scientific training known to man.
In a lot of ways, he is the perfect fighting machine.
Nick is looking for a leg there. George sprawls out easily, defends. Nice knee to the body by George. Nick is again tying up that left wrist, trying to roll on it. But George is pounding on him here.
Which is covering up.
And George recognizes the roll, hops to the other side, stops that roll, and more ground and pound.
A bad position for the challenger.
And just unable to get to his feet. Nick's got to figure out a way to either stop this or sweep him or reverse him. He's got to do something. And this is actually better for Nick. If he can get George to scramble with him on the ground, where he's getting beat up is in this position. But if he can initiate a lot of movement,
That's a big elbow, Joe.
huge elbow.
Nick got a couple of strikes to land from the ground, but then George takes over again.
Yeah, and those strikes from his back are just not very significant. He's got his back again, and Nick keeps going to the same move. Grabbing that wrist and trying to roll.
Under 90 on the clock here in round 2 now.
Nick trying to get a hand inside the legs of George.
115. Knee to the body, wisely grounded opponent.
Nick's up to his feet again, and he's free.
Knee to right hand. This is obviously what Nick was. A little bit of taunting begins. Superman punch. Superman jab. 30 seconds.
Good straight left there by Nick.
Kick again by St. Pierre. Spin by Diaz. 5 seconds in the round.